So there's been some serious debate about, is this really Bethsaida or not?
But could it be because in the past the water level was much higher?
Right. So we'll go a little bit over some of the history of the debate. So does it generally fit the clues that we have from Josephus? Yes, actually. Okay. It does. The other possibility is just it's out further. It's actually right by the water, El Araj. So first we'll talk about this place. So this was the one, it's actually the only one was only began to be excavated last year. So all the debate up until now has been based only on surveys of that material that was visible on the surface and excavations here. So basically, if you're an archaeologist, money is not easy to come by. So it's much easier to come by if you have a biblical site that you're excavating. I'm just gonna put that out there for people to consider. Okay, so what the excavators here, and this isn't settled yet. We're just gonna go over the evidence. Okay, so both of those places more or less fit the clues that we have. And so originally the excavators here said that, just like Kenny just said, the water was higher, and the base of this hill was where the harbor was. Okay? The only problem with that is it's 20 meters higher than all the ports around the first century. We have 16 ports. That means everything else that we're going to see today was way underwater. So that doesn't work very well. Okay? So we do have some fishing gear that was found here. There was stuff found from the Roman period here, although their critics aren't really impressed that it would have been the city. This was a pretty wealthy city that's described by that Philip had built up, and he's dedicated to Caesar's daughter. But the first century remains aren't super impressive here, actually, even though there are some. The other thing that has been considered in the past is Gargasa. There are some places, if we go all the way to the other end of the lake, there's a place where the harbor is on the lake, but the main city is actually several kilometers from the lake. So this is also a possibility. Maybe there's more than one part to Bethsaida. This is also a possibility. So let's say this was the biblical site of Bethsaida. What else would we expect to find here as evidence from an archaeological standpoint? What do you think we should find? If it really was Bethsaida?
Synagogue.
Maybe. But this wouldn't be, this we could have in every town. This would be something that would really tell us that it was a tradition. We should find a Byzantine church, because they built churches everywhere where they thought there was something, okay? So we don't really have that here. But in the first seasons of excavations, they have, which are limited to this point, they do have something that looks like it's probably part of a Byzantine church. Okay, so it's complicated, some of these sites. And there can be very heated debates by scholars, not always pretty. And this is one of those places where that's true. Okay. So like I said, El Araj is all the way down by the water.
Where do you see El Araj? Right, in the map.
So actually there's a map in and it'll show it right here.
Okay.
Okay, so there's all kinds of debates about did maybe the shore was back further and it's all filled in now. There's all kinds of debates about what might have happened with the Jordan River itself, but most of these aren't really provable. It's usually said that they thought this was swampy, so you wouldn't put a city there, but there is a city there. So
Can we go to Ararat?
no, not today. But in the next few years, you know, we'll have more information. Okay, but it's only after 1 year of excavation so far. If you look on the internet, you can see some pictures. Okay. Okay. Now,
So if this is not Bethsaida, what would this town be then? What would probably put
I
there?
don't know. It's probably not mentioned. We don't have any in the entire debate. There's no debate about this is this city or that city. This is the only cities that we know of in this area. So, you know, it's just like Sepphoris. It's not even mentioned in the Bible, despite the fact that it's the capital of the entire area and the most impressive one, and the biggest population. So sometimes there can just be major gaps in our knowledge because we don't have a record of it someplace.
Do we know that the Iron Age town and the first century town have to be on the same spot?
No. In fact, the reason that they're calling this so Gesher. Okay, let's look. It's a good question. So we do know that there was, you know, massive walls, a massive gate here in the Iron Age. So it makes sense. I think that could be it. Okay. So this is later in the Iron Age. We were looking at all the tribal groups. This is after the divided monarchy. So actually, this should actually be the time of David. Okay. So here we have Gesher, and there's where they're saying the city is. And it just makes sense. It's only a question of that it makes sense. There's no absolute proof that this is the Iron Age Gesher either. Okay, so everybody has this map actually in the book. So I'm trying to learn things and make them sink in. Then it's good to try to tackle that from different sides. So one of our exercises here is that everybody's going to copy this map. So you write it down yourself and it helps it to sink in a bit. So we have the general regions from the 1st century. We have Gaulonitis over here. We have the Galilee here, and it's divided into different regions: Upper Galilee, Eastern Lower Galilee, Western Lower Galilee. Phoenicia is this area. The Decapolis is actually all the way this part here. And then Herodian royal estates. What would a Herodian royal estate be? What's a royal estate?
It's a place designated for royal use. Usually it's like an agricultural land.
So usually it's agricultural land, and it's either going to be the king's or some land that he gave to somebody who served him well. So there's also some stuff here that relates. Everybody was supposed to read through Mark, and this also is showing a few things in particular. The yellow ones are the most important thing here. So the yellow ones represent special missionary journeys that are mentioned in the Gospel of Mark that are a little bit surprising. Let's look at some of those actually. The first one is in Mark chapter 5, verses 1 through 20.